guys, welcome back to Rocket Kyan, my fellow space tubers. So today we have another launch of the you guessed it right, the OneWeb satellites. Okay, so the OneWeb satellites, if you just don't know, they are the competitor, kind of competitor to Starlink satellites, and today is the launch for that. Uh, Someone said this no crew 2 mission has been already broadcasted. I I don't know how to pronounce that name, sorry, but yeah, the crew 2 has been broadcasted, so you can check out that. But right now the Soyuz is about to launch the OneWeb satellites to the space. Just a sec, guys. Let me just update the time here, the T minus here in the okay. And sure. So, okay, so first of all, let's just see the the rocket, which it is. Just a second. Okay, so let's just see the rocket which is being used today. So today the Soyuz is being used, which is a medium lift launch vehicle. The payload to the GTO is 3.2 tons, and today it is not going to GTO, so the payload capacity is much higher than that. It's just going to LEO orbit. And talking about the rocket itself, it is a three-stage rocket with the boosters as its first stage. Then we have this core stage. So talking about the boosters, this is how it looks like. It's a classical Russian rocket with boosters also being used as a liquid fuel engine and not the solid rocket boosters. These rock boosters are powered by RD-107A engines, which runs on kerosene and liquid oxygen as its fuel. So let me just tell you, this Soyuz has its um, the history in 1960s, and it's been developing and developing, and now the final product is this. But then also this rocket has not been much updated. The latest update for this rocket was the upgradation of its computer and the software. So Russians rely on this rocket a lot because this is the most reliable rocket in this world right now, and yeah, it is not going anywhere anytime soon. So talking about the core stage, it runs on RD-108A engine with four vernier engines. So these vernier engines are basically, you can say that these are used to control the gimbal of the rocket. These are the small four vernier engines. These are used to control the gimbal of the rocket. By gimbal, I mean if you want to steer the rocket, you use these engines, which is also producing some thrust. But vernier engines, the name, the vernier jets as they call, simply suggest that they are using some sort of gimbal mechanism for it. These are the static engines, these are the movable ones. And now yeah, they also, this core stage also runs on liquid oxygen and kerolox as its fuel. And talking about the third stage, so this is the third stage. This runs on RD sorry, 01104 STA and STB for RD0124. So this is the third stage. This also runs on the liquid oxygen and kerolox, means the kerosene as its fuel. So yep, that is the case. Then this the frigate upper stage. So this frigate upper stage is being used today. This is an orbital stage, which is an optional stage, and this stage just ensures that if you want to have some propulsion capability in orbit, then you use this stage, because this does not have cryogenic fuel and it can last up to uh, very it can last very long in an orbit. So because of its fuel, it's not using cryogenic fuel, it is using UDMH and NTO, which is a toxic fuel to be precise, but it can be used in orbit, obviously, because there is no as such toxins in space. You can't just go into space without any spacesuit, and you are not just exposing yourselves into things there. So yeah, you are very well safe. So this is an earth storable fuel, which simply means this does not require any temperature as such. So yep, that is the thing. And the scene, it can be restarted 20 times in a flight, because this is a hypergolic fuel, which means simply means that it does not need any igniter. So there is no need of igniter, nothing. Just mix the two fuels and you will get the combustion going. um yeah, so let's just talk about the orbit and what are the satellites. So this is in Leo. It is going to a Leo orbit around 450 kilometers. The inclination will be 87.4, which means that it is going to a polar orbit today. And talking about the satellites, the satellites are the OneWeb satellites. These are the 36 satellites today. And the characteristics for this satellite is simply, I mean, it uses xenon, which is an actually electric propulsion. And the main purpose of these satellites is to provide internet to the people around the world, same as the Starlink. The difference between these two is the latency. This thing works on means the OneWeb satellites works on 1200 kilometers. Starlink works around 500 kilometers or so. So yeah, the more you go up, more is the latency, but the more you go up, you will cover as much more area, which means you need to send in less satellites to cover the whole earth. And that is the reason why OneWeb has decided to only have 628 satellites in the orbit. That's it. That's it. Nothing more than that, because they can go with that. I mean, they are going up, so they are actually having more area to cover on the earth. That is not the case with Starlink. They are just staying at a lower altitude, so they need more satellites to cover the whole area of the earth. So this is how it works, and we have talked about the vehicle. So it is a very long mission, as you can see, 40 plus 4 hours and 15. You mean, I mean, almost 5 hour mission. Obviously, I won't be streaming for 5 hours, but yeah, the main thing which we need to know and which we need to see is the launch. So I'll be having that, and just see that there is one burn which is scheduled to happen, and that is specifically for deorbiting. So that is the thing. Let me just see whether we have anything in the nope. We are just waiting for the broadcast. Okay, to start. It should start by now. Let me oh, oops. Okay, so if you have any other questions, you can surely ask me, guys. And there is certainly some thing going on here. This is nothing but just a picture which actually summarizes the whole mission. And if I this picture itself is not very well self-explanatory, and is not very well illustrated properly. I mean, you can see that there is a launch which will happen, and then there will be the frigate stage separation. Here the frigate will burn for the first time. Here the frigate will burn here for the second time, and then there will be the separation happening. The four satellites will be separating at this time. So this kind of procedure, burning cutoff separation, will be happening for around 11 uh, um, maneuvers. So this 11th maneuver will be very specific, because this will be actually be the deorbiting maneuver. So you can see here it will deorbit itself, and hence the trajectory becomes this, and the FST re-enters the atmosphere and burns up in the atmosphere. So this is the thing in here. Do you have any other questions? Hi, God Grapes. Hi, Louis Smith. Hi, Joy Vujik. Okay. I can't speak Wish, Gav Matthews. Okay, so I don't know what language is that, but yeah, we are just waiting for the stream to start. I mean, the actual stream, to the broadcast to start. Let me see if we have any update here. Nope, as such everything is going as per the plan, and we should be having the launch here and the broadcast too, but we have to wait for some time. Okay, so if you do have any other questions, you can surely ask me, and I can answer your questions if you have any. Hi John Wilson. Thank you so much for joining in, guys. We are, I mean, if you like my work, you can surely try to subscribe, because right now where I am in my country, it's like 3:30 a.m. and that's why maybe you can feel that low energy within me right now. But as soon as the broadcast start and the launch appears and the launch is near, my energy will charge up. So yeah, pardon me for that, otherwise everything is going cool. What else do we have here? Let me just see. We do have some pictures, but okay, so this launch is scheduled to launch from the Vostokny Cosmodrome, which is in Russia. So yep, this is a Russian launch, which means you will hear some Russians in it. I mean, the Russian language in it. Okay, so come on, come on, come on. So why Airtel didn't choose SpaceX Falcon 9 would be cheaper than that of Soyuz Subspace or Aeronautics asks. So first of all, if you don't know, guys, this OneWeb satellite constellation has had faced some serious consequences in terms of finance. I mean, they have bankrupt many times, but they have been saved too, because these internet constellations tend to be like that only. SpaceX were able to do that, I mean, without going bankrupt, because it is headed by, first of all, the Elon Musk, the man itself, and the second of all, they are providing the launch vehicle themselves, so they are not charging for any profit or so, and they are obviously reusing the rocket. So that is the case. They have hence they have hence kept those prices low, but not with the case of OneWeb. Hence they need investors. So recently the Bharti Airtel Global, which is an Indian company, Indian telecom company, and the UK have UK government, I must say, have aided them and supported them in for their bank, and now they are stable. So that's why that is the question here. Wrong stream title, just a sec. What have I done? No, stream title is correct, Pedro. Is Soyuz launch OneWeb satellites only? Okay, so yeah, what I was saying, the Bharti, yeah, so Airtel, why didn't they invest in SpaceX Falcon 9? Because they don't need any investors. I don't think so. uh, that is the answer for that. Obviously you don't want to have any monopoly in anything, so whenever there is a competition, that is always and always good. So we do have a stream here, just a sec, let me just switch over to that. Okay.
Revolutionary compact satellites are the size and weight of a fridge, but they're designed to deliver broadband internet anywhere on the planet. By the end of this year, the OneWeb infrastructure will deliver continuous connectivity at latitudes higher than 50 degrees north, introducing a commercial service in the UK, Northern Europe, Canada, and Alaska. Once the OneWeb constellation of 648 satellites is complete, wherever you may live or travel, OneWeb will be able to connect you with fast internet and low latency. So whether you're mid-ocean, mid-air or just in the middle of nowhere, the satellites will provide truly worldwide coverage. This will bring vital and much needed opportunity, communication and access to the millions around the world for whom that has been out of reach. In the past year, we've all seen just how important technology is in keeping us all connected. But almost half the world, more than 4 billion people, are not yet online, and for many that are, the service can be slow and patchy. Oneweb can deliver opportunities many of us take for granted, such as remote companies able to do business online, travellers able to access high-speed internet in the skies, schools able to teach without the need for books, connecting classrooms around the world, telemedicine services where doctors or hospitals are available to patients in remote locations, firefighters, police officers, first responders communicating with people in times of crisis or natural disasters. This is OneWeb's mission, connecting the unconnected. And over the next half hour, you're going to see that happening live as their latest satellite group takes flight live from the Vostochny Cosmodrome aboard the Arianespace Soyuz rocket ST-31. And being in Russia for this moment is also pretty special because if you know your space history, you'll know this launch takes place just a few days after a significant date. On the 12th of April, Russia celebrated the 60th anniversary of the Soviet Air Force pilot Yuri Gagarin becoming the first human in space. Back in the early 1960s, this was a landmark achievement in a space race that was at full speed. But it would be another 8 years before a man set foot on the moon. And OneWeb are continuing with this trend to pioneer. Their service is designed using a revolutionary network of satellites working together in low Earth orbit, which are connected to user terminals on the ground that work together to transform the connectivity of communities, giving everyone the internet speed they need. Now, none of this would be possible without the support and expertise of Arianespace. They'll be monitoring this launch at every step. So let's now go live to their flight desk in France to join Stefan Israel for an update on the preparations.
Good evening or good morning, everybody. So we are now a few minutes from our Soyuz launch for OneWeb. Soyuz will lift OneWeb. So in Paris, we are with our Arianespace and StarSem team. We have some teams in Vostochny for sure. I would like to thank all the teams who have participated in the preparation of this campaign. We have the team from our customer, OneWeb, the team from OneWeb Satellites, the team from Arianespace and StarSem. And now we are really in the last minutes before the liftoff. Everything is going smoothly, so we are now waiting for this liftoff. It will be the 6th mission for OneWeb. We have more than 100 satellites already into orbit, and we have tonight 36 more satellites which are going to be delivered by our Soyuz. So go Soyuz, go OneWeb, and see you later after the mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that overview, Stefan, and we'll be returning to the flight desk very shortly. Now, it's easy to talk about connecting the world, but how exactly does it work? Well, OneWeb have a new state-of-the-art service demonstration experience where the team can show you the speed and performance of the network. It's located with Satellite Catapult, an organisation also devoted to finding new ways to use satellite technology. Let's take a little look.
OneWeb is a fantastic new company. In the summer of last year, the UK government decided to invest into the establishment of the company, and what they're looking at doing now is introduce a new type of satellite communications infrastructure. We're going to be able to connect people around the world at fibre-like speeds in ways that we've never been able to do before. Things like autonomous vehicles, drones, robotic shipping, all of these new technologies that we know are coming are going to require the services of OneWeb.
Now we're going to give you a speed test across our network from Westcott to the internet, running live across our satellite network. 95, 100, 120, 133, 145. This is real time, 165.1 megabits per second download speed. What a fantastic result.
OneWeb represents a real step change in what is becoming possible from space. If you can put high bandwidth communications reliably into the back of an ambulance, what does that mean for the sort of services that paramedics might be able to deliver in the ambulance connected to a surgeon connected thousands of miles away? What can you do then? Or on an oil rig?
You're at school in Alaska and you're trying to do online learning. You don't have the connectivity at the moment. With the OneWeb system, you will.
In years to come, I think we will see this point as being as transformational as the rollout of the mobile phones and as the rollout of smartphones in lifting us forward in our ability to connect around the planet. I think OneWeb is generally that transformational.
And if you enjoyed that behind the scenes look, then you can see plenty more content like that on OneWeb's YouTube page. Do make sure you go and check it out. Okay, it's nearly time for liftoff. For OneWeb, the countdown to today's launch began many months ago for their team. So let's go live now to OneWeb's Senior Director for Space Infrastructure, Maurizio Vanotti, to talk you through the final stages. It's the moment you've been waiting for, the launch itself.
Thank you, Georgie. It's great to be back for another launch, and it's almost time for liftoff. So let's also welcome back Vincent Boudel, the Advanced Studies Director at Arianespace, who's going to talk us through the final moments in the preparation for the launch. Hello, Vincent. Great to see you again. Over to you.
Hi, Maurizio, and hello, everybody. So I'm very happy to be with you tonight for this new OneWeb mission with Soyuz. So far, final ops in Vostochny are running as expected, and the Soyuz is ready for launch. The first combined operations have consisted in the integration of the complete stack of 36 OneWeb satellites on the frigate upper stage, and followed by the encapsulation phase with the fairing installation. This upper composite has then been transferred to the launcher integration building, where it has been integrated and finally prepared on top of the Soyuz 3 stage. 3 days before the launch, the complete launch vehicle has been transferred to the launch pad, and once arrived on the launch pad, the launch vehicle has been vertically tilted, and the mobile gantry has been safely installed around the launcher. So the launch pad operation have then been initiated with line connections, setup, and several verifications. And the countdown and the dress rehearsal have finally been run successfully at D-2, that is to say 2 days before the launch.
Thank you. Wonderful to see the rocket in position. Vincent, what's happening in the countdown? How are things looking right now?
So far,
Okay,
all ops are running as expected. So the beginning of the launcher final automatic sequence has been initially manually 5 minutes before liftoff, with a turn of cane start position. So an operation called Kluch Nat Start in Russian. Purging operation are as well ongoing, and on frigate, the transfer has been done to the onboard power supply. So 2 minutes and 25 seconds before liftoff, so a few seconds ago, the umbilical connector was separated. So before this disconnection, the communication between the ground and the launcher upper part were provided by these electrical links. And in the meantime, there is the pressurization of the Soyuz 3-stage tanks. And at S0 minus 45 seconds, the transfer will be done to the three-stage onboard power.
Less than 2 minutes to go. We've got a long journey ahead. We have a lot
So
of
guys,
satellites to
this
drop
is
off.
it's the time now. We are around T minus 1 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll answer the questions. Hi Mars 2028. Hi Ben Fry. And this animation is just to make sure that you have a good experience.
Of the thrust level. So this progressive sequence enables to check that the engines work nominally. So first there will be the ignition 16 seconds before liftoff, then a preliminary thrust level, so 20% approximately, 11 seconds before liftoff. Then the intermediate thrust level, 85%, so 4 seconds before liftoff. And finally, the full thrust level at liftoff time.
That's great.
It is happening, guys. T minus 30 seconds now.
From liftoff. I've seen many launches, but at least for me, it's always like the first time. Cannot get used to it. What's your feeling right now, Vincent?
Yeah, so it's an emotional moment. As for previous launches, so everything is now ready for launch, and there will be the ignition in few seconds right now.
So the satellites are warm and cozy inside the fairing, and we are ready to go. You can see that we're just a few seconds from launch. Let's follow these together.
And lift off.
And we have liftoff of Soyuz ST-31 mission. It's very exciting. There's always a bit of tension in these moments. And we are launching in plane 5 today of our 12-plane constellation. There's still a long way to go. 4 hours journey before all the 36 satellites will be released. Right now, the boosters are doing all the heavy work, and they're pushing us against Earth's gravity, and they will burn their propellant in just under 2 minutes. Vincent, can you briefly explain how you're getting telemetry from the rocket?
Yes, Maurizio, indeed, we are getting information from the teams in the CVI. So in French, CVI means control visuel immédiat. So this operational team is tracking the launcher and receives the telemetry data from the launcher. So the team can consequently confirm when major events during the flight have
Okay,
occurred.
so that's the contrails
The
only.
booster separation will occur in just less than 2 minutes. We're looking forward to receiving confirmation of the jetson of the boosters shortly. That will happen after they've burned all their propellant. So we'll not need them anymore, and this is all part of the plan of shedding weight that is not needed. Vincent, when do we have the maximum acceleration levels throughout the ascent phase?
Yes, so we have the maximum acceleration level at the end of the booster phase, so that is to say at the end of the first stage flight phase. So the first stage of the launcher
It is happening. The booster separation is coming up.
The central core, so
Just 5 seconds or so.
and each powered by an early 107A engine. So producing a total thrust
And
of
there we
340
go.
tons at liftoff. So their job is to get the launcher away from the Earth. So
Now the next event is the fairing separation.
correct separation of the booster. Yeah.
Thank you, Vincent, and we've also seen it live from the camera on board of the Soyuz. So our 36 satellites are sitting at the top of the Soyuz launcher inside the fairing that is protecting them in these initial phases of the ascent. Vincent, tell us more about the purpose of the fairing and confirm separation when you're able to.
Yeah, a few words about the fairing that has several jobs. So most notably, it's protecting the satellites, of course, from the severe conditions of the launch and the atmosphere. So there is the acoustic vibration at liftoff and also friction when the launcher is flying through the dense part of the atmosphere, so at a very high speed. So at the present altitude, there is no more atmosphere, so then no need to maintain the fairing on the launcher to protect the satellite. So the launcher is then liberated from any dead weight.
And when the fairing is jettisoned, this is also the first time that we see our satellites. The satellites are attached to a central dispenser in a configuration that resembles a corn
Exactly,
kernel.
Ben Fry.
The satellites themselves look like a truncated pyramid. That's the
And we have the
configuration that
fairing separation.
maximizes
Oh,
the
God.
number of satellites inside the fairing itself. You are able to spot two dishes. Those are the gateway antennas that communicate with the ground stations, while what looks like a fanned-out deck of cards is the user link antenna, that part of the satellite that communicates with the user terminal. Now, Vincent is going to take us through an animation that explains the different phases of this launch.
Okay, guys, let me just tell you, everything just happened so quickly here, and there we didn't even have some sort of, you know, pause in between to understand actually what is happening. We didn't even have the countdown clock running properly or something like that. But from the next time onwards, for any OneWeb launch, I'll make sure that I have the Russian broadcast. And now the MECO has already happened, guys. Main engine cutoff has happened. The second stage ignition coming, and there you go. Now we'll have the tail separation. Here we go. So hopefully the animations are helping you, but yeah, that this also I mean I also don't like what is happening here.
First, the separation of the 4 satellites integrated on the top
Okay, let's see.
of the dispenser, and then a successive separation of the 36 satellites integrated on the cylindrical part of the dispenser from the top row to the bottom row, 4 satellites at once. So as illustrated on the 3D animation, it means that 9 separation events are necessary for the complete release of the 36 satellites. And between each separation event, the sequence is identical, so 19 minutes, which consist in a series of maneuvers. So first, a tilting of the nose module, then a boost of the frigate attitude control system with a very small
Okay.
delta V during
Okay,
during
okay.
seconds.
So let me just take the hosting to my end only. So guys, right now the third stage is burning itself and burning actually and propulsing the satellites to the orbit. This should be going till T plus 9 minutes and 18 seconds. And the third stage itself consists of the LOX and kerosene as its fuel. So that's what is happening. We would have loved to get the views of the actual launch and actual vehicle or the onboard cameras, but that is not happening. There is something else is happening in the broadcast. Hey, here we go. So right now the third stage is burning, and everything is looking good. We would love to have the official those traces, those maps or the graphs for this launch. But yeah,
Powered by an RD 124 engine, producing a thrust of 30 tons. It burns for approximately 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's great. Now let's hear from Georgie again, who has been speaking with one of our partners, the AST Group. Georgie, over to you.
I'm joined now by Gregory Darling, who is chairman and founder of the AST Group, and he's here to speak more about AST's partnership with OneWeb. Gregory, a very warm welcome to you.
Thanks very much.
So can you please tell us about the AST Group? What do you guys do?
What do we do? Well, when the company started, we needed a name and we called it Applied Satellite Technology. So we apply satellite technology to the problems that we come across in the world. So if you haven't got a GSM coverage or a landline, then you need satellite phone or you need satellite connectivity. And nowadays it's internet connectivity. So we sell equipment to a wide variety of users, and then we provide the connectivity and the service and the support and enable people in remote locations to communicate. It's as simple as that.
So you mentioned that you have a wide customer base there. You know, what are the top needs and priorities of them right now?
Well, more connectivity is really what people want because we're used to that. But a journalist has a different...
Okay. Let me just... guys, this is not happening. I mean, let me just switch the... Should I do that or not? This is not happening like this.
It's absolutely vital. So, I mean, connectivity is an obvious advantage, but are there other advantages this technology gives your customers?
With Oneweb, for example, it will enable more efficiency to come from operations because you can have preventive maintenance, you can have the real need of people to talk to people rather than
And we
just
have the cutoff of the third stage. Now the frigate stage will be separated. There you go. The frigate stage is separated and it should be burning in just 10:22 if I'm not wrong. T plus 10 minutes and 22 seconds. It will cost a bit and then it will burn. Yeah, that's the thing.
The launch phases are always extremely exciting, and we are looking forward to confirming stage 3 separation. While waiting for that, let's take a moment to highlight that we're also deploying our ground network infrastructure, the key elements of which are the satellite access portals distributed across the globe that will enable commercial service introduction and continuous connectivity at latitudes higher than 50 degrees north by the end of 2021. Now we're coming closer to frigate ignition. Vincent, can you update us on the progress?
Well, the third stage is now separated, so and the frigate upper stage is now getting ready to switch on its main engine. So the first step is called the pre-burn phase for a duration of 55 seconds. So it's given a quick burst of acceleration to push the fluids back in the tank. So this is the first step of the frigate mission. And this first ignition enables to inject the nose module into an intermediate transfer orbit, so an elliptical orbit, and the duration of this boost is just over 5 minutes. So we will be able to confirm, yes, we can confirm now that the successful ignition of the frigate upper stage.
That's fantastic news. Thank you very much. Well, the next phase of the journey is about to start. The frigate is really the smartest part of the rocket with its own brain, and it will execute a series of separations. This is similar to a school bus drop-off, as it will release 4 satellites per stop. And note that as our celestial bus has only one gear, and as after each drop-off it becomes lighter, the frigate will have to fire its engine for a shorter period of time after each separation. Once the satellites are released, the onboard computer wakes them up, and the team at the Satellite Operations Center takes control of the newborn babies. As we are in the process of deploying another pillar of Oneweb's network, we have also launched our first Oneweb Innovation Challenge, aiming at identifying new ideas to promote and nurture innovation in space. We are inviting industrial and engineering partners, academia and research professionals across any sector to present proposals to innovate a new generation of satellites. So do check out our website for more information about the Oneweb Innovation Challenge 2021. I'd like to thank Vincent for being with us today and taking us through the key phases of Oneweb Launch 6. Thank you to all of the colleagues at Oneweb for making this possible, and thanks to those of you watching from home. We've enjoyed witnessing together another exciting moment of Oneweb history. And now I'm going to hand back to Georgie.
Okay, so
There you have it. Another batch of OneWeb satellites are on their way to take their place in low Earth orbit. Wasn't that an incredible thing to watch? And it won't be long until more satellites will join them. Throughout 2021, OneWeb will continue to build their network as there are only 2 launches to go before there are enough satellites to connect some of the most remote places in the Northern Hemisphere. Thanks to the team at OneWeb and to Arianespace for allowing us to join them live and for all their insights. It's been brilliant to see OneWeb's mission in action as they transform the way we think about connectivity. A little bit of history in the making. You can follow the project and this mission's progress across the OneWeb social media channels. Don't forget to also look out for the next launch coming soon. From me and all the team at OneWeb, thank you for watching and goodbye.
Oh man. I'm for sure, guys. I am not feeling good after watching this launch. This was the worst launch coverage ever I have ever seen, and I will make sure the next time this happens, the OneWeb launch happens, I'll do something to make it interesting or something like that, because I thought at least Arianespace will be hosting their broadcast. I know they are also not very up to the mark, but still this is better. Arianespace's launch coverage is better than this one, and whatever we have watched today, I mean, I can say that it was not worth it. I mean, yeah, I must say that, because I'm not feeling like very good right now after watching the launch, because first of all the launch happened so quickly, and it was like everything, we didn't even see the looks of the rocket, and then the timeline didn't match and all those things happened. But it's okay, that's the launch was successful. That's what we want to hear, and everything is good. And don't worry, from the next time onwards, I'll make sure I'll do something, or I'll switch over to the Russian broadcast, because that would be much better. I have just seen that was much better. The only problem with that was the Russian language. Most people won't understand that, but I will do something to make sure we can understand it and we can have something to say. So whatever I did try to make some animations, as you can see here, and they also didn't go well, but yeah, it's okay. I'll make sure everything is good from the next time onwards. So the frigate is still burning. I mean, this is a 5-hour mission, so obviously they'll broadcast for that time. And the broadcast which you are right now seeing is the Russian one, so which is much better than this one. So now the 4 satellites are being ready to be deployed. We can see it's being on the North Pole. We can see the ice beneath the Earth. I mean, beneath this stage. So yeah. So I think we can end this stream. It's 4 a.m. here, and yeah, thank you so much for joining in. Until then, this is Priyanshu Roila, and you just saw Rocket Gun. And just remember, we have the Delta IV Heavy launch tomorrow, and hopefully that would be so awesome to watch. The Delta IV Heavy is retiring very soon, so there are not many launches left, and any launch which is happening of Delta IV Heavy, that fireball phenomena and everything, we should be watching it. So yep, I will be there, I'll be hosting it, and I'll be prepared for any situation like this from now on. So yeah, thanks so much for joining in. Until then, this is Priyanshu Roila. You just saw Rocket Gun. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye bye.